books in them, a mattress on the floor. You need lots of pillows in a home, you know, and rugs of many different colors, of red and yellow and blue, little designs that make you dizzy, and some mirrors, and nice big couch with inlaid wood of little scenes of hunters, and some velvet, and gold leaf on the frames, pictures on the walls, and puppets from India, and a Zulu fighting stick. You know, those fighting sticks are painted with bright designs, and you can hit someone over the head with it and break their skull. Do you like to make a home?
Well, I don't know. Do you?
Yes, I love to make a home. A place to live in, to have it fill your dreams, to feel soft, and you can drift in its arms forever. That's it, a home where you live. And after you have lived there for many, many years, you can look at it and say, I had a life here on earth. I had a place. I was not just a mosquito who floated over the swamp, here and there, and don't know where I've been or what I'm doing here. But I had a place, for as long as I was blessed to have it.
Right.
You can buy things for your home, or not always buy them. Friends can give them to you. It doesn't need $1 million. You can get the beautiful things from the world and bring them to your home. Acquiring things. This is a good thing to do, like a squirrel or a rat. People could do it, and they like it. You could do it. You and I. We could have a whole relationship based on shopping.
We could.
Of course we could.
Well, maybe. I am more of a Buddhist. I like a bare floor. Maybe just a mat on the floor. And a few books. And a cup of tea. I don't buy things. I never have.
Maybe you're just a cheapskate.
Maybe I am.
Or maybe you have a philosophy.
I thought I did.
That is an interesting thing to me.
It seems to me the trouble always begins with love. People always say the trouble is differentness, or even hatred, or prejudice, or some such bad thing that is the root of all troubles. But really, it's love that always disrupts everything. When love is set loose in the world, anything can happen. When human beings give free rein to love, and if they don't, you can hardly call it love.
How is this?
It's very nice. Very nice. I like it. And love pays no attention to what is useful or considerate. It throws the world into turmoil with every breath we take. And not just love of another person, love of the earth, love of trees, love of the country. Little green farms, fenced-off tracts of wild quince with great pink flowers, the blue air chill but full of a new and subtle warmth of spring.
How is this?
I don't know about the color.
You don't know about the color.
What? I don't know. All the things that we cherish and covet and protect against the intrusions of others, the love of one's own country, of one's own friends, the familiar ways that they have, their mannerisms, the way that they are dressed. And then, love of wine, love of pleasure, a picnic in the woods with sweet red peppers and a pinch of thyme, love of music, love of riches, of speed, of power, all the things that we desire, and even love of sorrow, love of tears, love of heartache, love of anguish, love of the exhaustion of sleep, of solace, love of warmth, love of pain, love of lasting longer than you think you can, of loud noises and cheering and marching steps and martial music, of causing death. With all these kinds of love, what need is there for hatred? Hatred is just the kerosene put on the fire. This must be why there's nothing to be done. If you cannot eradicate the human heart itself. Because it is not the worst in us that leads us into trouble. It's the best.
Do you think you could? What I had in mind was I would come to Paris and make a life for myself because I grew up in the country. I made my hair red and tied it in a fountain on top of my head.
Right.
I don't know what I had in mind. I came to the Sorbonne, and there I was, a young person going from day to day, thinking only of what I did, of singing, of the clothes I wore, of where I was living, that's all.
Right.
Of some friends I made, of the bookshop I meant to go to, of the book I meant to pick up there.
Your mind is just
Of the little basket I might buy to keep ribbon in. There was a room in a little hotel in Provence where I once stayed, with its faded yellow walls and the shutters opening onto the interior courtyard.
like a dream.
White arum lilies, purple irises, 100 little tulips with pointed cups, and pittosporums whose scent paralyzes the wind. I thought I would have pittosporums in my Paris apartment.
Right.
And then I met a man in a cafe who was very intelligent and not at all handsome, because I thought if he is handsome, I cannot trust him.
You cannot trust a handsome
No. And I guess I thought if he is ugly, I can trust him, which was my first mistake. And he had a book he was reading, which of course, right away for a student is a good thing. And he was an editor of a publishing house, very distinguished, a literary person already. And I was so flattered. I could see. He just lit me up with his eyes. And I liked that, even though I knew it was wrong.
Right.
Pretty soon in this world I was carrying around in my head, he drifted in and out. And sometimes I thought he was living there, and I was living there with him. Until pretty soon my thoughts of my world took form around him. And so it seemed quite natural, so that I never made a decision. I just kept moving into my life all the time, thinking, I am just a young woman trying on my own life.
Right.
Seeing what it is to have a life in a big, beautiful city.
Right.
I couldn't possibly think of having a life that involves another person as a couple.
No.
It has nothing to do with my life that I'm living. And yet, how can I not? What if I'm to let the choices of my life slip past me, so that I have no life at all? And so I married him.
Oh.
Is this the way people get married these days? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Other people think about it so much more clearly.
Well.
And there I was, and I didn't know how he had gotten there. And it turned out he was a prick.
Ah.
Who knew? Well, it may be everyone knew but me. Men are pricks.
You mean?
It seems to me all men. This is how it seems to me now. I try not to make a sweeping judgment, but how else can I judge? In my experiences, this is how it is. And I put on the brown colored glasses that I have, and this is how I see men.
Oh.
You know what it is with a man. They are there. They are there. They are there. All the time they are pursuing you. And once they have you, they are gone. You turn around all of a sudden, and they are gone. You can't count on a man, because just when finally you decide, okay, I can count on you, that is the moment he just disappears, and you never hear from him again. And what you have left is just a big dearth. Is that what you say?
A dearth?
Yes.
Yes, you could. When I met my wife for the first time, she was riding a bicycle. A friend of mine introduced us. We said hello. Nothing special. Until she said she was on her way somewhere. And she turned around and got on to her bicycle. It was a boy's bike. She turned and swung her leg up over the seat to sit on the bike. She wore blue jeans, a little bit tight. And I saw her back, her hand, her arm, her shoulder, as she took hold of her handlebars, the small of her back, and her butt. And it was then that I knew I wanted to marry her.
Because of her butt?
Yes. What I had in mind was a real friend. Someone I could share feelings and be coming from the same place. This is such a complicated thing. Because people come from different places. To begin with, if you are a man and a woman, then your lives have been so different. And then, if you are different ages,
Even generations.
How can you bridge such a gap?
And then they come from different countries,
One from this town, another from that one.
different families.
One had brothers, another had sisters, whatever. The thousands and millions of minuscule things that make us so different from one another. And if it is hard for just anyone, you can imagine how hard it is for someone who comes from Serbia and for someone who comes from Montenegro.
How can two people ever share the same feeling exactly?
And without effort,
With comfort even.
easily,
So that they can just relax together.
and feel that there is someone in the world who understands me.
Really knows who I am in the deepest sense.
The both of you look at a bit of each and say, oh, how beautiful.
Or at the same moment, we both feel, what an ugly place.
And the two of you go arm in arm through life, knowing that there will always be someone there for you, because they understand how it is for you.
Even sometimes they are already there before you've gotten there.
So, you are facing some troubles? No problem. I understand how you feel exactly, and we will get through this together.
Right.
Do you think that this can never happen? That two people can never really know one another? And really feel the same? This is just a romantic wish. No one ever feels it. It's just not possible. That's the tragedy of life. We are all alone.
I don't know.
No. Neither do I.
C'est de la bombe, bébé. devenu reporter. Un jour, mon chef de rubrique m'a dit: tu seras notre envoyé spécial là-bas au paradis. J'ai vu que du bonheur et puis des lacs bleutés. À chaque paysage, je disais quelle beauté. Des filles se promènent accompagnées de leurs licornes, parlent de nouvelles modes sans se soucier de leur forme. Sur la terre, je faisais des bidonnages, réel scoop. Une sauterelle devenait kangourou grâce à ma loupe. J'avais pris le parti d'être juge et parti. Publication judiciaire et puis c'était reparti. Mais là, je veux pas troubler cet idéal. L'homme et l'animal, la femelle et le mâle flottent sur le bonheur. Parce qu'ici y a pas de peine, c'est pas la jungle urbaine, c'est le jardin d'Éden. Pas de peine, pas de haine, c'est le jardin d'Éden. Sinon j'ai le casier et j'y l'augure le meurtre au paradis. Pas de haine, pas de peine, c'est le jardin d'Éden. Sinon j'ai le casier et j'y l'augure le meurtre au paradis. Pas de peine, pas de haine, c'est le jardin d'Éden. Sinon j'ai le casier et j'y l'augure le meurtre au paradis. Pas de haine, pas de haine, c'est le jardin d'Éden.
Do you want a limonade?
Yes, sir. Well, you see, we had a good time together. This has been a nice little romance after all.
Yes, it certainly has.
We were afraid to have a fling. I won't speak for you. I was afraid. But it turns out it was okay.
Yes.
And I hope when you go back home, you'll keep me in a good place in your heart.
Yes, I will. Certainly will.
You know, in France, this is how it is. You have a lovely time. You hold your life with a light touch. It's not a tragedy.
Right.
All we did was talk about how we can't get together. And all the time we got together anyway.
Right.
Because we liked it.
Yes.
We thought, we are too damaged. We can't do this because of our histories. They hold us in grip. We can't go on. But then we do.
Yes.
We don't go on to be together, of course, because just when we are being quiet and considerate with each other, still we know it's not right for us because we are grown-ups.
Right.
Because we still do have our histories. They do not go away all at once. A person cannot suddenly all over again become a different person.
Yes.
And because still, you are a little boring.
I know.
And you have some ways of being, I don't know. I won't say that I don't have some ways of being that aren't wrong. But with me, these ways of being are passive things, because I'm young. And maybe I don't know any better. Or else I will learn, because I will see what these bad ways of being get me into, and I won't like it. And I will have other ways of being.
Yes.
But you, I don't mean to say, you are a nice person, I think.
Thank you.
And I think you still have the capacity to learn. But you, I don't mean to say anything against a person who is so considerate. A real gentleman, I think. But still, you have some ways of being that you have because they are so old. And you haven't gotten over them. And even if I wouldn't care because I would love you, you know, I would see right through these ways of being to you yourself and say, well, so what? He's a little stupid. But he's a nice guy underneath it all. Even so, after I would do all that, the things I think are fun, you think are silly, and what you find interesting, to me is just incredibly tedious.
That could be.
Finally, you would bore me to tears. I wouldn't be able to stand it. I would be feeling guilty about it, because here you would still be, being considerate and supportive and generous and loving. And I would just want to hit you in the face with a frying pan. So that would be bad, that would be wrong. That would be no fun for you.
No.
So, if we have had our little fling, and you go back to America, and I go back to my life, maybe we think of each other.
Yes.
And maybe we think of each other in a way of warmth and affection.
Yes. No, I will.
And maybe I could think, maybe a man is not such a bad thing, and I could have a life with another man.
Right.
And you could think, maybe a woman is not such an evil species, and you will find someone. Or you will have your old friend, because an old friend is a good thing. And probably when you get to be your age, this is more important than anything else.
A friend.
Yes, and solace, and getting ready to calm down, to enjoy being in the twilight of your life, wallowing in that little bit, so you don't miss it. And you don't have some frantic bimbo trying all the time to get you out of the house.
Right.
You can have your grandchildren, and they will play around your feet next to the dog. And you will doze off in the afternoon sunlight. I think this will be good for you.
You do.
And me, I'm at the beginning. I want some excitement, I'm going to want to travel quite a lot. And maybe even have sex with a lot of guys. Who knows? Or maybe not. Because I'm not so wild or just looking for the thrills. But just to be free with whoever it is I want. To have the adventures. It's a little bit with each person. You enter into their world for a while. You live in their world for a while. It's like a trip to the moon.
Yes.
To step into their lives for a while. And to have another entire life for yourself.
Yes.
And the person wants these things. To have many lives in one life. Not 1,000 lives, maybe. Because then you don't notice any one of them. But to have some lives. Since you won't have another chance if you only have one life yourself.
Yes.
Or else you might say, why can't I find all people in one person?
Right.
This is what a man I once knew used to say. I was interested in him in a romantic way, and I tried to seduce him, I have to admit. He was in love with another woman. And I said to him, how can you just be faithful to her? Isn't it a little boring? Because if you would be with me too, and it's a whole other world for you to live in before you die.
Yes.
And he said, yes, but with this woman I love, I find all the women of the world in one woman. And I thought, well, this could be what people want, and they never find it.
Right.
So, you are leaving.
Yes.
You wish I would drop you off at Pascal's.
I can find my own way.
I'll say goodbye then. Probably I won't see you again. Probably not. Not for a million years.
Right. Well. Goodbye then.
Un jour tonight.